Hello, neighbor.
Howdy.
Do I have your permission to film this and use the footage?
Yes.
All right. And what is your name?
My name is Brad Dodson.
And can you please describe yourself in 5 words?
I am a follower of Christ.
Okay.
I am a father,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a husband.
Okay. Where do you live? Describe your living situation. Who do you live with?
Okay, so I live in Nashville, Ohio.
Okay.
And I am a preacher at Nashville Church of Christ.
Okay.
And we have a parsonage.
Oh.
And so
you do not own or rent?
I do not own or rent.
Okay.
It's technically part of my.
And you're not homeless. I
my
mean,
park. Yeah, I'm not homeless.
Yeah.
And actually, it's really cool. It's built in like before 1850. We have a picture of it.
Oh,
and
fun.
it's a really cool big old house, and we love it. It's a great place, and
Nice.
we've raised all of our kids there. I do have 4 kids.
Okay.
And they are 15, 14, 12, and 10.
Okay.
I have boys on both ends and 2 girls in the middle.
Okay.
I have a dog named Tucker.
Okay.
He is a silver lab, and he's huge. He just turned 2 this last weekend.
Oh, he's a baby.
Yes. He's a huge baby.
Okay.
And then I have, we have chickens. I think we have like 20, it's either 21 or 23.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, chickens. And they're eggs. They're like,
okay. Breed of chicken?
They're all different kinds of breeds.
Okay.
So we have like the little brown eggs, speckled eggs, and we have the blue eggs and green eggs and all that.
Nice. Any white eggs?
No, we don't have white eggs. We don't do white eggs.
Well, that's really funny.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's who we have living in our house.
And then how long have you been living there?
We've lived there for 16 years.
Okay.
My son was born right after we moved there.
Okay. First son.
Yes, my first son. And yeah, and we've been at the church that same length.
Okay.
Same length of time.
Okay. And how has that area, the area you're living in, how has that changed since you've been living there?
So the town we live in is an awesome little town. We have one light. We have a little deli called the Buckeye Deli.
Okay.
And we have it's just a close knit town. So like for instance, like my neighbor Chad, I'll walk over and just he'll be on the back porch and he'll yell over at me and we'll just sit and just talk and
nice.
See things going on. The next neighbor literally this weekend had a bunch of equipment over there, so we're all like, what's he doing? What's going on? And so it's just a very close, comfortable community. I will say that area has changed the most, like the specific town, in that over the last couple of years they've torn down some of the older buildings that have been dilapidated, are no longer useful in any way, shape, or form. So now there's lots that are opened up, and so like other neighbors have bought those, or I think Habitat came in and built a house.
Oh, fun.
In one of those spots one year. And so like we're seeing that kind of happen, and younger families are moving in. So the older people are either moving out or passing away. And so younger families are finding their starter homes in our little itty-bitty town.
How are they? Is this younger families who grew up there or people from elsewhere?
They would probably be people within the outer community.
Okay.
So like we have, like every town that we have, there's probably another town like 5 miles away.
Okay.
So that it would be people that within the county area.
A nice walk.
And really our town's probably one of the lower, I'm not gonna say income, but like probably like value.
Okay.
Of housing and stuff like that. So it's a good place for young families to come and find a deal.
And raise kids.
Yes.
All right. What's your favorite thing about living there?
Like I would say once again, just the community and just knowing people.
Do you know everybody in your town?
I'm gonna say they know who I am.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it and I would know them if I saw them.
Right.
But yes, I would say yes. I know. Yes, I would, because like as I'm going down the street, I can tell you who lives in all the houses on the main street. It is still a heartfelt small town. We have the Memorial Day parade every year, and it's like big and flags and band. The parade doesn't start at a time; it starts when the band arrives.
Okay.
So because the band goes all the other parades, and then we're the last one. And so it starts there, and then like for instance, we'll have a float with veterans on it, and all of our local troops and 4-H clubs are in it. So it's just it's a good town feeling. We have a Christmas event every year. Okay. Where it's the lighting of the Christmas tree. But
one tree in the middle of
town? One tree. It's one tree on the corner next to the one light.
Okay.
It's sitting there, and then in the fire hall they have like cookies and and the
Okay.
whole town comes over and they have hay rides around the town. Like, so
Nice.
it's like kind of like the Norman Rockwell or like a Hallmark movie.
Right.
When you see
Okay.
that's what
Is
it
it a
is.
volunteer fire department?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. In your estimation, what does a good life look and feel like?
For me, it is spending time with my family. That's one of my purposes, one of my biggest priorities I have in life. And so like I'm trying to do that more purposefully. And so just spending more time going on hikes, getting outside, and even like teaching my sons specifically skills.
Okay.
So whether it's hunting skills, whether it's being able to start a fire.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
like I always tell them, like I want you to be the guy that like when you go out with your friends and be like, hey, we need to start a fire, you can be like, I can do that. So yeah, so stuff like that is where we're like, that's the good life, is
Nice.
sitting on the back porch with my family and hearing laughter and inviting some friends over and just spending time together.
Nice.
Really want to do it.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your life?
So this is gonna sound crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but so at my church,
Okay.
we have experienced great growth. I kind
Okay.
of joke around that I preach in a megachurch
Mhm.
because our town has 186 people in it, and our church has like 250 people in it. So I'm like,
You're poaching.
yeah, like we're busting at the seams. But the biggest problems we have is because of that, we've had a lot of growth. We have a lot of kids
Mhm.
at our church, and like right now we have probably I think 5 or 6 pregnant ladies
Mhm.
that is going to make the nursery even grow more overcrowded.
Right.
Our tiny trek, which is our preschool
Okay.
age, it's already maxing out that facility, and then that group's just going to be moving up into our children's ministry. And I'm the only full-time staff
Okay.
at our church.
Wow.
And we have like we're actually looking for an associate at our church. So. But we have like, for instance, like within our youth group program, which would be our junior, senior high, we have about 40 kids that come on a regular basis.
That's amazing.
With just parents and volunteers and people that are saying, hey, we find this important, so we'll do it. So,
Yeah.
so it's major. But for instance, like we are running out of space. And so we're trying to figure out what our next step would be without jeopardizing financial future for the church or putting the next generation in a crunch, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. What's your best strategy what is that looking like?
Yeah, so we have a couple options. One is possibly like ag parking or something like that, so that we can just do multiple services at our facility. Another is maybe working with some of the other churches that might be struggling or saying, hey, we see what you're doing. We'd like to do that too. And then we say, okay, let's partner together and figure out if we can do that. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of praying over that and seeking direction. And but the other side of it too is like we have a great eldership at our church. So we're elder-led church. We're non-denominational. And so that means that there's no one above us or anything like that. Like we're the ones making those decisions. And they have a strong desire just to be really authentic and to be sacrificially building God's kingdom. And not just financially, like with our time and our resources. And we want people to know Jesus and experience him. And so that means action. That means doing the things. And so that it's kind of nice having a strong leadership that supports and we're all in the same direction.
How many services do you have now?
We have one. We just have one. Yep.
Okay. So just Sunday morning.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yep. What's your favorite vegetable?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yes, I don't know if that's a mushroom.
Yeah, mushroom is a vegetable.
Okay, we'll take it. But yeah.
Favorite kind of mushroom?
So I don't know, the cheap ones that
the little white button mushrooms.
Yeah, there's but I'm not a morel guy. Like around here, everyone.
Have you eaten them?
I have.
Okay.
And they're good. Like I like them.
Right.
But like people here go insane. Like the season comes, they're like, oh, let's go looking for these morels. And the funny part is I know where there's some at, and I'm just like, I don't care. But
you can tell me.
No, I'm not. That's a rule. You're not allowed to tell other people. But I always make a joke that how do you get people who normally don't exercise and are kind of like couch type people? How do you get them to walk in the woods? And you have to just hide food in the woods.
There we go.
And they'll go at it.
Do chanterelles grow around here?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play. How do you spend the majority of your time?
So majority of the time would be with church.
Okay.
Just because I work
That's
there.
your job?
Yep, it's my job. I spend a lot of time there. The rest of the time would be really with my family.
Okay.
Our kids are highly involved in different things. My oldest son golfs for the local school. We homeschool our kids.
Okay.
But you can, in Ohio, you can be part of the local school, West Holmes School District.
Okay.
Their golf team. And then my girls are they dance
Okay.
for Home Center for the Arts. It's located in Berlin, Ohio. And I think they're pretty good.
Okay.
So, but they enjoy that. So they do that probably about 4 times a week.
Oh,
and
wow.
So we're driving over there.
That's dedication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, so we do that a lot. One evening a week, we have Trail Life. And it's a program for raising godly men. And we do that once a week, and we do camping and stuff with that.
Okay.
Similar to other like scouting, other outdoor adventure programs. And so that's
Okay.
But it really does center around our family and,
Nice.
and spending time together.
What do you wish you had more time for?
I would say a hobby.
Okay.
Okay. So I do a lot of things. Like I golf, I hunt, I do those things. But the one thing that I look at, and I think it's a generational thing that we've kind of lost,
Okay.
is my dad used to work in a wood shop. Like
Okay.
he worked in a steel mill, and he would work in a blast furnace. He would come home from work, and we would have dinner as a family and do all of that stuff. But then he would go up into the wood shop and just create. Like he would make these little nativity sets, or he would make Adirondack chairs for whoever wanted them. And he did those kind of things. My grandpa used to have a ham radio.
Okay.
And so he would do that as a hobby. And I think when you look at those things, they're like, it's a skill. It's something that you learn to do, you invest in. And I don't think we do that as much anymore. We'll do things like golf. We'll invest money in golf clubs, but, but it's not something that you're spending by yourself or you're fine tuning a craft of some way, shape, or form.
Right. Where you're actually creating something tangible.
Yeah. And he used to take stuff to like craft shows and like little church festivals and sell them and stuff like that.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Do you have a hobby that you wish you were doing? I mean, like, is there something calling to you?
No. So the problem that I have is I've never been really, really, really good at anything, but above average at everything. Like I can like whether it's sports or whether like I go in and I'm good. Like I can do it. But there's never been anything that I've been like excellent at. And so I always thought it'd be cool to find, because I always wonder, like you watch the Olympics like this last winter and they had like toboggan runners. I'm like, maybe I should have tried that. Maybe I would have been like the LeBron James of toboggan running. But no, I don't know. I don't know if there is anything. And I think right now that's hard because we're just busy with our kids, stuff like that. So I don't know.
What do you believe will happen to you personally when you die?
Oh, I'm going to heaven.
Okay.
And I will say it's nothing that I've done.
Right.
Like it's all of what Jesus did.
Okay.
And so that's why I have no doubt. Because if it was based on what I can do, and then I'd be questioning that. But Jesus has done so much that I can say that securely.
Cool. What's something that you know more about than most people?
So I'm a preacher.
Okay.
So you would assume I'd be like, well, I know the Bible more than most people. But I will say I've always struggled with learning.
Okay.
Growing up, like I'm very much like, my wife kind of laughs. She's like, you're definitely ADHD. Like she goes, and what's funny is I look at my notes like from college.
Right.
Because recently I taught a session on youth ministry at a conference type camp thing. And I was looking at my old notes. I pulled them out and I realized that like my notes, like you can tell like the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm taking notes, I'm writing down. Then all of a sudden I'm drawing pictures over here and I'm drawing but I've really learned how I learn is through absorbing. Like I can listen to a sermon and repeat that sermon like that.
Right.
Like I can read a book and tell you exactly what's in that book.
Better if you're not taking notes?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Like for instance, I hated undergrad. I went to Johnson University, and that's where you have to be like, all right, make a list of these things, and like make through our marriage and family classes. It was like list these people and like list the 10 things. I hated that kind of stuff. Well, masters I loved. Because it was, okay, here's what you're going to learn. Read this book. Now, tell us what you think about it. And I was like, I'll tell you what I think about it.
There we go.
So,
yes.
So I loved it. And I did that at Kentucky Christian University. And I loved it. But that's also when I learned that I learned differently.
Right.
And it really stunk because like when I was in school, I thought it was stupid. But then I look back and I never did homework. I never did
Yep.
It was all from just like hearing the teacher speak,
Yep.
and then whatever I remembered, I would put down the test. So,
Right.
so yeah. So, but I would say the thing that I know more than maybe some
Okay.
people, I coach CrossFit.
Okay.
I'll say for fun.
Okay.
I love the community. I love like what it's done for me physically, and so I became a coach 6 years ago.
Okay.
And so in that, I watch a lot of videos. I do a lot of training. I'm a level 2 trainer, and so yeah. So I would say that's something that not a lot of people know how to do, like power lifts or clean and dirt.
When you're learning, are you focused on the interpersonal aspect of the coaching, or more on the physicality and not getting people hurt?
The second part.
Okay.
Yeah, like I am the technical side of stuff.
Yeah.
Where I want to make sure that they're properly lifting, because that's when actually with CrossFit it gets a bad reputation sometimes because people are like, oh, you're going to get hurt. No, if you learn to do it right and you have a coach that is going to not allow you to push yourself to a certain point and actually give you suggestions and things like that. And we live at our head coach, the owner, is a great guy about like making sure that we are like our focus is not to be a gym. It's to have a community, family. We're a family that is there. We want consistency. We want integrity in what we do. So it's just a great environment to be in. And so that actually bleeds over into our coaching. And we've become, over the years, even a better gym because of those things.
And is name of gym?
It's Muscle Camp CrossFit.
Muscle Camp.
All
right.
Camp.
Tell me something you've learned recently.
To shut up. That would be, so I am a witty person, and one thing that, let me share this first, is I don't like ministers. I never have.
Okay.
And the reason is I just felt they were fake. And not that they were, 'cause I know like the ministers that were in my life, the ministers I knew were very powerful, godly men that influenced me to become, to do this position. But like, for instance, when I would have you'd see someone, you're talking to them and joking around about the football game this last week, whatever, and then they go up to pray and they speak King James Version. Right. Like, and you're just like, what's going on?
Who died?
Like, yes, exactly. And so like, even to the point, like I remember my first Sunday preaching at the church, I wore a suit. Like I wore a full blown suit. And then the next Sunday I was like, I'm not doing that. So I wore jeans and a button down shirt. Okay. Like I still have, like, what's funny is I still do have, like, growing up in a very like small church and stuff like that. Like I feel like I need to wear a collared shirt of some kind, like just whether it's a polo or a button down. But like, so anyway, so I wore jeans and I wore a button down shirt, and I remember people being like, is he allowed to do that? Is that? And the reason is I wanted people to see like, hey, I'm a follower of Christ just like you are. Right. Like, yes, I've gone to Bible college. Okay. But you have the same Bible. I have the same Bible. Like, you've been called to the same things that I've been called to do. And so that's really been one of the things that drives me. And it has attracted a lot of like young men. It has just the authenticity. When I preach not to be like, hey, I want to make you smarter, or I want to make you feel bad about yourself. I've always said I want it to be like this, like a living room conversation where I'm doing my study and I just want to talk to you about like what God has shown me in this passage. Right. And so that's really spoken a lot to, especially the young people in our community and stuff. And so that's why our church has a lot of young families and stuff. Okay. So.
Do you have access to the healthcare that you want and need, and how not? I'm
going to say yes. But I will say it's probably not the direction we thought we would go. Okay. When we moved here, we tried to get on, at the time it was Obamacare. Yep. Where you had to get on a program. I did not have insurance. My wife did, because our income was low enough that she was pregnant. Right. We had babies. And so they were all on that. I was not. Well, then when we had to we all had to get on something, we tried and they denied us because they said that you didn't make enough money to apply. Okay. And so we were like, so they were like, you have to apply for Medicaid. We were like, oh, okay, like that's what we'll do, because we wanted to be legal about it. Yeah. Yep. So we did that, and that's kind of where we've been, because that works. Yeah. But it kind of frustrated us because we felt Like even to the point where like and of course, once they did that, they were like, "Oh, you need to apply for WIC. You need to apply for this."
Right.
And we were like, "No, we don't need that.
Right.
We don't need those things to be able to do that." And so we found it. We just thought it was weird that
Yeah.
we felt like we could afford something,
Right.
but they were like, "No, you can't afford it, so you can't apply." So yeah, so we have insurance.
Okay.
But it's probably not the way that we thought we would.
Yeah.
Get insurance.
When's the last time you read a whole book, and what was it? Would you recommend it?
So I read probably about every 3 months or so.
Okay.
I have like, so the problem is I read like 3 or 4 books at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like one's in a car, one's in my backpack, one's in. But the one I would say the most impactful in my life, and I've shared this with other people, is there's a book called The Bait of Satan.
Okay.
Okay. I don't remember the author. And
Okay.
he's written, so what's funny is he's written by a Pentecostal background, which I'm
Okay.
not, but,
Right.
but the root of it is very applicable in our lives. And what it really talks about is that a lot of people think that Satan's out to get you. Like that's
Right.
what we're going to preach in here. But I've always said that like Satan doesn't want you to worship him. He just doesn't want you to worship God. Like he doesn't want you
Okay.
to live for him. He doesn't want you to, he wants you to be content. He wants you to distract you with
Yeah.
world, with whatever he can around you. And so the book talks about one of his greatest tools is bitterness.
Okay.
And it's one of those things, like it was eye-opening for me. It's kind of helped me in ministry, where a lot of times when people wrong you,
Yeah.
or if something bad happens to you, things are out of your control, whatever it might be, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, whether it's in your job, in your life, whatever, we get mad.
Yeah.
And then we get mad at the person, we get mad at the circumstance, and then we chew on it. We
Yeah. Stay mad.
and then we're gonna hold on to that. But the problem with that is, and this book really opened my eyes to that, is that's my problem.
Right.
Like that's my sin. I even remember going to some people that had wronged me, and I remember apologizing to them for holding bitterness to them. Like I would have been like a youth minister at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even to the point where like, I didn't want to minister to their kid because it was just going to be a problem. Like
Right.
it was just going to be but then I realized like I'm cheating that kid. It's not allowing. So I went to the parents and I was like, hey, I just want to apologize to you for me having that bitterness. And
How did they respond to that?
the book actually talks about this a lot of times. They'll be like, oh, well, okay. But it didn't matter. Like for me,
Right.
it was like I got to let go of that.
You did your part.
Yes, and it was like, and I've had like one or two be like, "You're right. Maybe I should have done this or should have said this." But really, like the whole idea is like that's your thing that you hold
Right.
to. So
Right.
so that was a game changer for me, and it's actually been helpful in ministering to other people,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't control you to make you apologize or
Right.
to make you feel bad or make you
Right.
like I can't do that, but I can control what I can do.
Yeah.
And so it was a good book.
Describe a good person.
That's a trick question. I think that's sneaky, especially talking to a minister. So I'll put it this way. If you have a person that becomes a follower of Jesus, because I'm going to say, hopefully a Christian is a good person.
Okay.
Okay. But then you're like, okay, what judges that? And so like, I always look at it as if someone gives their life to Christ, are they more spiritual or a better person than someone that is 60 years old and has been a Christian for years and years and years? And the answer is no. Because to me, a good person, because you can do good things,
Right.
but a good person is someone who is living the will of God.
Okay.
Okay. And not as in like, and you're like, okay, then what is God's will? Is he going to send me an email? Is he going to be like, hey, go
Right.
on a 1,000-mile trip with horses
Right.
and wagons? No, I don't, like, because I think there's oftentimes in life that God gives you choices. He gives you directions. He gives you opportunities. It's living in God's will is in whatever opportunity you're in, you are living righteously. You are living a life to glorify God.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you can make poor choices.
Right.
You can sin. You can do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you find yourself in that position through repentance, through forgiveness, you then say, okay, I'm going to glorify God in the midst of this hard time,
Yeah.
or this hardship. And to me, that's a better person than someone that has, hey, I'm giving all this money to this philanthropy thing,
Right.
and doing all these things. Because I think that's eternal significance, not just
Right.
temporal significance.
What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I I'm getting old.
Okay.
So I went to the gym, and then I had a whey protein.
Okay.
It's called Ascent protein, and with Metamucil in it, so it tasted like a creamsicle milkshake
Okay.
type thing. So
Okay.
yes,
What is your favorite breakfast?
bacon.
Just straight up bacon?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Just
You
bacon.
can just eat bacon anytime, any place.
Okay. How often do you have that?
Not very often because it's
Okay.
horrible for you.
Okay. Tell me something really specific you love about being here on planet Earth. What makes you really happy you're alive?
I'd have to say being in nature.
Okay.
Like that's where I find peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's where just like I like to hunt, and I like sometimes I say the best hunting days are when you don't get anything because you don't have to clean it, you don't have to drag it out of the woods, you don't have to do anything.
Do you have a freezer full?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's probably the other reason. But just spending time, just being outdoors, and then
Okay.
also being out there with the family I love. So like I believe I can connect. Like I do believe I connect with God in nature, just because I can be silent and just.
Do you have a favorite landscape? Like nature is a big.
It is the woods. I love
Okay.
the woods.
Okay.
Like if my wife says, "Hey, we're going on vacation," we're going to the mountains.
Okay.
Just because I love the mountains. I love hiking. I love the challenge. I like to push myself in those moments. I think I always look at the outdoors as God's playground for us, and I think we should enjoy it
And protect it.
Yes, absolutely.
What are the woods around here? I mean, I'm coming from a place with mostly conifers.
Okay.
And I'm looking around here
Deciduous,
going,
yeah.
that is not here.
We have oaks. If you drive down the road,
Okay.
you'll see large maple woods, and you'll see
Okay.
these wires. They'll look like wires, but they're
Okay.
actually little pipes that are going from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree.
Okay.
And what those are is that's where they've tapped it for maple.
You
for the
guys do maple syrup here?
Oh yeah, all over the place.
New England thinks they have the copyright on
no,
that.
they
No.
don't.
Okay.
So then they have like these really cool machines that put a vacuum that suck them. Like these woods will be covered with pipes, and then it sucks it into these big drums.
Okay.
And then they use reverse osmosis, which takes so it purifies water.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I get that.
But the reverse way is we're pulling the water out of the syrup, which it makes it more dense.
So you don't have to boil it?
You do have to boil it, but it takes way less time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're removing all the water and leaving you're making super condensed liquid of the maple syrup, and then you boil it faster.
Is that just an Ohio thing?
No, I think it's all over the place.
Okay,
but
I'd
that's
never
just the
heard of that
way.
before.
But if you see those big farms, they're definitely doing
Yeah.
it. They're definitely doing it.
Okay. If you got a checklist when you paid your taxes and you could say to the government, these are my top 3 priorities, this is what you spend my portion of the money for, what would those 3 priorities be?
I would say one would be infrastructure.
Okay.
Roads, telephone lines, electric type things.
Would you include internet in that?
I would say yes.
Okay.
At this point in time, now I will say in Ohio, I'm having more and more issues with these big data banks that are going in, and the sad part is they're not going anywhere, because we are becoming so reliant on AI.
Yeah.
And that's like everyone it's one of those things people are gonna be like, I don't want these data bank things, but they're like, you have to have it.
Yeah.
Like you have to have somewhere to store all this information,
Right.
and that's literally what these big buildings
And
are.
they need a lot of water.
Yes. So it's one of those things like I wouldn't. That's an area that I would not be in favor of. But the problem that you're going to run into is, man, the internet's free. Like AI's technically, but somehow they're got to pay for all these multi-billion-dollar buildings all over the place. So I would say yes. I think we need internet access to everyone, just because of the world we live in.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say first would be that infrastructure. Second would be education.
Okay.
Now
you're homeschooling.
I am homeschooled.
Okay.
I love our school district. We homeschool for the purpose that we want to raise our children.
Yeah.
Like we love West Holmes. I substitute taught there for a while. My wife substitute taught there. I coached soccer for them. And so we have a bunch of teachers at our church. We have principals at our church. So yeah, it's a great relationship we have with our local school district. But I think in the lower end of education, I just think it needs to be more purposeful.
Okay.
I think we're seeing more and more like, hey, we want to have longer hours. We want to be in the school more. We want to do those things. And like being a homeschool family, like we are done. My high schooler is done in about 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
and he's studying the things he wants to study.
Right.
And he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
We took the California test, and all of our kids were 3 years advanced
Oh, wow.
from the grade they
Yeah.
were in. So those are the same tests that they're getting
Right.
the funding for their school system. So we're like, okay, we're not messing our kids up.
Right.
We're good. But then like even my son right now, he's working for one of the guys from the church, and he's running backhoes and doing
Real
skid
skills.
loaders, and he's doing his schoolwork in the evenings.
Yeah.
And able to do that.
And then golf when?
He golfs, so that's in the fall, but he'll
Okay.
golf in the evenings,
Okay.
like in this next year. So, but I think there needs to be more of a focus on the things that really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shorten days. Let's get rid of the club, like these clubs, these things that just take time and energy.
I mean, I think what's hard there is when you've got two parents both working
Yes.
full time.
Yes.
Where are those kids going to go?
Yes, and to me that's one of the issues we have. Like my wife and I, we've chosen to. It would be great to have another $20,000-$30,000 in our household income.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Right.
That would be great. but the thing is like we only get one chance to raise our kids.
Right.
And so we have taken that financial problem, and the problem is a lot of people, because of the lives they built, they can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that every man should be able to look at his wife and say, hey, if you want to stay home, you can.
Right.
The problem is we built these lives. We have these mortgages. We have all these car payments that.
Well, and wages are not keeping
Yes.
up.
And so because of that,
Yeah.
like that's the problem is back in the 70s when everyone went back to work, then all of a sudden we can afford these. One, they could charge more for these houses.
Right.
So therefore the prices of houses go up. And then so now we both need to work. And that's kind of continued to this day. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's inflation, it's general inflation. And people are willing to pay it,
Yeah.
then we're going to charge it, which
Right.
I agree with. like,
Yeah.
like that's part of America. That's part of America. But yeah, so I think that's like one of the big keys is just mentoring these young people into life. Quit teaching them things that really makes no difference and just
Right.
keeping them busy. The other side would be, especially around this area, is focusing on the secondary education.
Okay.
I love secondary education.
Mhm.
I'm not against college. I love college. I had great experiences in my college. I went to Dodson University. I went to Kentucky Christian University, and made lifelong lessons and goals and learned a lot. But like, for instance, an example would be like my college I went to, Johnson, they're offering now a $10,000 scholarship for anyone that wants to go into preaching.
Okay.
Because when they see the need for preachers and they're like, hey, we need to do this. And that's an annual scholarship. I think
Right.
it costs it's just under $30,000 to go there. So it's not.
Okay. It's a
so-
third of
So that's a third of that.
Yeah.
And that's without any other scholarships. And that's room and board. And so it's one of those things like that. I know they're offering like an $8,000 scholarship for missionaries.
Okay.
Around here, we are in an area that values the trades.
Okay.
So you have businesses and organizations that will offer apprenticeship programs where you could come. I know, for instance, the Millersburg Electric offers an apprenticeship program where you go and you start working for them. They're going to teach you the skills. They're going to pay you a minimal as you're starting.
Right.
But then as you gain more experience, once you get through the program, you're going to be an electrician for them.
And you've got a job with
And
them.
you have a job with them.
Okay.
Same thing with a
Nice.
lot of the co-ops for linemen, for electrical workers. They have similar programs where you get paid on a scale. So like when you start, you get paid like 60% of
That's
what.
brilliant.
Yes, it's awesome. And so I think there should be more of that
Yeah.
opportunity in school.
Is that just Holmes County? Is that all of Ohio?
I think you see a lot of it here because there's a lot of trades here, being with the Amish influence.
Right,
So
okay.
you have ones that we'll call it jumping the fence.
Okay.
That are able to, like, we have contractors, we have builders, we have things like that. So we are heavy in that in our area. But throughout Ohio, I do know that a lot of the co-ops and things offer those type of things. But I do think in our area, like our
Be nice if that was contagious.
like our training centers, our tech schools,
Yeah.
is huge here.
Nice.
And it's 3 different counties share the same one. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. And that's 2.
Oh, 2. Sorry. Where do I want to go? I am an outdoorsman. I love
Okay.
to be outside. Corps of Engineers, like back in the day when they built the state parks, when they built like these, like we literally have in Shreve up there, we have a little pond. It's probably 25-acre pond. So it's a lake. We'll call it a lake.
Yeah.
But it's for the community. It's for them to be outside and to be together. And I would love to see more and more and have opportunities like that.
Yeah.
Like where a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want to join the military, but I would love to join something like that would go and make our community a better place.
Right.
So yes, I think more money into those areas would be great.
Okay. What 3 things do you not want your tax money going for?
So one, I would say things that would contradict my personal beliefs.
Okay.
And I know that it's hard to and I'm saying it that way because I know you can't just say Christian because in our world there's many interpretations of things like that. But like value of life, I don't want my money to go to pay for abortions. I don't want my money to go pay for sexual transitions. I don't want those things. Now here's the deal: is I don't expect non-Christians to act like Christians.
Okay, that's fair.
And because I think that's biblical. Like don't be surprised when people do things that don't align with your beliefs when they don't believe what you believe. And so, but at the same time, I don't think that I wouldn't want my funds to go to support that.
Right.
Because I think it would have life-altering circumstances, and even that's going to affect spiritual things down the road too.
Okay.
So that's one. 2, I don't like lobbyist type things.
Okay.
So you're going to elect me, and then I'm going to, whatever you do, since you gave me the money to get elected, I'm going to support.
Okay.
I don't think it's, I think so many times there's not a question whether it's right or wrong or whether it's good. It's just, well, I have to do that because they support it. So it takes away the free thinking, like we would hope our politicians are somewhat intelligent enough to think for themselves, but it kind of takes that away.
Yeah.
And lastly, and I don't know if this one applies, would just be, I'm not a big fan of medical advertising.
Okay.
And that would probably go along with the lobbyist type situation. I think there's a lot of influence from our medical worlds.
Yeah.
That even bleeds into how doctors treat.
Yeah.
Just real recently, I had someone that was, she was having her baby in 2 weeks, and they were trying to get her to get on insulin, because she was diabetic or whatever it is.
Right.
Prenatal diabetic or whatever it is. And it's in 2 weeks, and her sugar numbers were fine. They were at 90 to 100. And in the end, she went in and it was just bad results and stuff like that. I'm like, well, what happened if you would have done that?
Right.
So, but it's one of those things medication. And once again, I mentioned earlier that I do CrossFit, and I believe that through active life, healthy eating, that can change a lot of the things that we do. And I am diabetic. I have rheumatoid arthritis. And what I'm learning is I'm controlling those things through life choices. I can't be a victim. I just have to do that. So I don't like in the lobbyist world of hey, all these commercials on TV about try these drugs. It'll make you skinnier. It'll make you happier. It'll bring you true life.
Right.
I just don't think it's legit.
How many living beings are you responsible for keeping alive?
I would say right now I'm in charge of 5 people.
Okay.
I do have the dogs and chickens, but
they're living beings.
Yeah, good luck. They can figure it out. But I would say if I had to choose, it would be those 5 people. I will say that and that includes my wife. I'm responsible for that. After my kids graduate, then they're on their own.
Okay.
It's their choice. It's their responsibility.
Graduate high school, graduate college?
High school.
Okay.
High school. No, they won't be kicked out or anything like that.
Right.
And even to the point, if we can help, as long as they are pursuing a life that is pushing them forward, we will 100% support.
Okay.
But the idea is we've always talked to our kids about launching them into life. We want to prepare them so they can go and lead and be part of the world around them. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel well represented by your politicians? And we're going to go local, state, national.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say local, super local. I know a bunch of them.
Okay.
And it is what it is. And so we live in a very conservative area.
Okay.
I align with more conservative views. I'm not necessarily an independent or a Democrat or a Republican. But I would say I'm more on the conservative side of things. It would line up more with the Republican side of things or independent. And so local, they kind of take care of the things. It's there. I think a lot of times it's more drama than anything. Like
Okay.
I kind of watch the Facebook groups. And I'm like, in the world. But I will say state level, I feel like we're well represented. So once
Okay.
again, we're in a conservative area, so that matches my viewpoints.
Right.
But I will say, like, the one representative that lives on the next road behind my house, and so like we know who they are. They've been to our trail life events. They've been to different things like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
National?
National, I think they have their own agendas.
Okay.
I think that the representation is just on whatever, well, once again, they're backing
Yeah.
and wherever they're at. And I think it's more of a political gain than anything.
Okay.
I don't think they represent the people very much.
Okay. What kind of person would you be most excited to vote for?
I would say someone who puts things, the important things are things that have eternal significance. Okay. So I'll explain that. Like, so I always talk at our church about, like, if there's a line going that way forever and a line going for this, and that's eternity.
Right.
So eternity's going in both directions forever and ever. And there's one little dot on that line, that's our life. Like,
Right.
that's human life.
Okay.
Like, and so whether it's like this big or whether just your little dot's like this big. And so a lot of times I'll ask them, like, the things that you worry about, the things that you struggle with, does it affect the dot or does it affect the line?
Right.
And so, like, does it affect your 501, your 401k? Does it affect?
Is that dot or line?
That's dot.
That's dot.
So,
okay.
like, does it affect your Social Security? Does it affect your business loans? Does it affect those type of things? What does it affect? To me, when it's looking at the eternal things, is how does it affect like your the spiritual things of life, like value of life. So value of life, value of like people's mental, physical, spiritual, emotional states, because that's going to affect your spiritual lives.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Okay. Is there something in your heart that you, like a big dream that feels just right on the edge of in reach?
Okay. So when I was growing up, we lived on the family farm. So you have my grandpa's house, and then all the sons got a piece when they stopped farming. They did it as not a hobby farm, but it was like they all worked in the steel mill. When they all went to the steel mill, like the whole family did.
Okay.
Like,
then who ran the farm?
Nobody. It was they got rid of the animals and just it was that. But the farm then got broke up in between all the sons.
Right.
And it was really important to me to own land.
Okay.
And so it's funny, like, it's one of those things, like, if that never happens, I've become okay with it.
Right.
But it is something that I wish that one day, like, that I could do.
Right.
Because I'm living in a parsonage. We've been here for 16 years, and, like, someday I won't be living in that parsonage.
Right.
And we're making plans and trying to trust God what that'll be. But I'd say that, like, I think it's attainable. I think it is attainable, but it seems real far off.
Okay.
So,
what do you feel like is the biggest challenge we're facing as a country?
I would say trust.
Okay.
I think we no longer trust people. We no longer trust politicians. We no longer trust, even to the point where, like, if you look at, like, the moral failure of, like, pastors and, like, at the big mega churches, people who are very influential, or even it doesn't matter, that it is weakened people that used to be of authority, used to be influencers. People wanted to follow them. People wanted to say, yes, I'm with them. And so you have, like, even within parties, you have, like, just for instance, I'll give you an example that happened last week, where you have the Trump followers that are like, hey, I love Trump. He's the guy. He's where I'm going.
Right.
But then he posted the thing where he's like Jesus healing the person. And, like, which I don't care if he is a great businessman. I don't care if he is. And a lot of that, it's his pride that leads to that. But that's not okay.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, where you felt like you could, hey, this is my guy.
Right.
Like, that's no longer there. Or even, like, when Biden was doing a thing, I know people that were like when he was failing physically, people are kind of questioning, like, oh, is he okay? But they're like, well, no, he's my guy.
Yeah.
I got to stand by him. And so it really has made, and everyone's like, oh, they're fine. Or Trump, oh, everyone makes mistakes, you know, and it's kind of justifications and things like that. Instead of people being like, no.
Where's the accountability?
This isn't okay.
Yeah.
You know? And I do believe in forgiveness. I do believe in, but it's just one of those things where we don't trust. You can't trust your parties anymore. You can't trust the people, and then even media does not help out with that.
Yeah.
Social media does not. Like even I'll even say with social media, AI does not help out with that.
Yeah.
Because even when something comes up, you're like, I don't even know if that's real. I
If
don't know.
I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like it takes almost like 4 or 5 days to be like, and actually I thought like that it takes days to find out and be like, yes, that actually is true.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I would say I think it's a trust factor where we don't trust even if someone was saying something we agree with.
Yeah.
We would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we've been burnt too much.
Yeah. If you could ask everyone in the country one question, what would it be?
Well, I'm a preacher, so I have to be like, do you know Jesus? But I think I would take it for like, I wouldn't just come out and say that. I would just ask them like, are you finding purpose?
Okay.
Like, are you finding, not significance? Are you finding, but like, where are you finding your purpose in what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Okay.
And to me, and then that opens a whole conversation of like, we don't want this superficial living. We don't want like, and so that's where, like for me, like you could jump from one thing to the next, or one hobby to the next, or one protest to the next,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to do. But to me, it's that's where I think we have a gap until you begin living for God, like really knowing that He wants you to sacrifice for Him, but you can trust.
Yeah.
You can trust Him
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And so I think that would be the big purpose is like, what is your purpose?
Okay.
Like, how are you living that out?
And if you're watching this and would like to answer that in the comments and join that conversation, we would love to hear what you're going to say. Thank you.
You're welcome.